Hey everyone, today I want to talk about the response that Wizards just published regarding the outrage over the Open Game License 1.1. There's a few things that I want to talk about with it. First of all, I want to make sure we don't lose sight of the fact that they acknowledged that what we saw in that leaked license was legit. There was no attempt in this statement to claim that what we saw was some early draft or was something that they were just kind of floating around or wasn't really meant to be seen. This was the license that they were going to put out there. So anyone that was withholding judgment until they saw something more official, well, this statement makes it official. They did not try to diminish that license at all. That was the license that they were going to put out there. Then they made a point of talking about their 3 goals that they had for this new open game license. And I find the goals that they had and their statement about how they couldn't actually achieve all 3 goals to be ridiculous. The first 2 goals that they had are things that could have easily been addressed simply by adding a couple lines to the open game license to talk about hateful and discriminatory products and whether you could use it for NFTs and blockchains, things. These are things that exist in terms of service agreements on any number of websites and any number of products that are out there. Those are minor things that you can add to the license just to clarify those points. Those would have been just very small tweaks that I don't believe would have caused much uproar at all if you had added those. But the third goal that they say they had is the one that is the most interesting. And it's the one that makes it clear that their intention is to make it so that they are the only ones making money from Dungeons and Dragons. They make it clear that the open game license is for homebrewers and aspiring designers and players. And here's where it gets interesting. They include in that it's not for major corporations to use Dungeons and Dragons for their own commercial and promotional purposes. And I find that just absolutely rich. Because here you have the largest player in this conversation. By far, Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast, making way more money than anybody else in the discussion. And they're going to sit there and make a statement that tries to make it look like all the other people making money, all these other companies that are making good amounts of money off of role-playing games and some Dungeons and Dragons content, that they're the bad guys. And poor Wizards of the Coast is not making money because these other people are making the money instead. That's just absolutely ridiculous. And it just shows what their real intention was here, is that they want all the money. And this is what everybody's thought from the beginning. They want to cut all those people out. And a lot of the rest of the statement is talking about stuff related to that and the royalties and how they want to get that stuff under control. And it all comes down to they want more of the money. So there's no surprises there. And there's certainly nothing in it that changes anybody's opinion of this. The last thing I want to mention is right at the end of the statement, they indicate this. We won't be able to release the new open game license today because we need to make sure we get it right, but it is coming. And if that doesn't sound like a threat, I don't know what does. Clearly, what they're going to be putting out there is going to be very close to what they already put out there. They're going to maybe dial back a couple things, but this statement definitely reads as, yep, this is what we're doing. And they say they're going to take feedback from the community and blah, 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 blah. I don't buy any of it. They are simply delaying the release to hope everything dies down a little bit. But they make it very clear in that statement that this new open game license is coming. And I don't think anything's going to be changed. So whatever decisions anybody was going to make based on what we saw with the leak, I think those decisions still hold true today. Nothing in this statement changes any of that. At least that's my opinion. So anyway, let me know what you think. Love to hear some thoughts down in the comments on how this is progressing with this latest piece of information. Until next time, take care.